Alright, everyone, this is Transformers Age of Extinction spoiler freaking review. This is a spoiler review. If you haven't seen it, turn this crap off, run for your life, shoot your computer, because I will spoil everything. Every single thing that's in the movie from beginning to end. I will tell it all. So run for your damn life and come back when you saw the movie and you can actually join in the talk and discussion. But if you haven't seen the movie yet, don't do it. Especially if you're like, you can't spoil me, I'm gonna watch it. Don't do it. Don't freaking do it. Run away. Run away, man. Run a freaking way. Pretend I have an axe in my hand and a crazy grin. Run a freaking way. With that done, alright, let's do this. So, like I said in the spoiler-free one, it begins kind of like a freaking Men in Black movie. They could have actually replaced the soundtrack and go dun 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 dun. I mean, seriously, when I looked at it, I was like, man, that screams freaking Men in Black. So freaking hardcore Men in Black. Seriously. Yeah, so in the beginning, what happens, it's kind of funny that everyone already seen it is watching this, but hey, whatever. I guess you guys, that this is going to be funny, so yeah, why not watch? Anyways, when the first thing came, I was kind of laughing inside the fact that they're like, no meteor destroyed the dinosaurs. The Transformer creators destroyed the freaking dinosaurs with the seed. I'm like, wow, that so brings me back of when you watch Futurama and there was an episode with Fry and he had I forgot the vehicle name. I was hoping I would remember right now, but I don't. I remember it was something Junior and it broke and stuff and he still had the grenade or the bomb. And the big brain was like, he asked questions and he was like, what destroyed the dinosaurs? Was it a meteor? No, it was me. And he just showed the big brain zapping all the freaking dinosaurs. That just brings me back. That was just too funny of a memory to not remember. Oh, man. But anyways, yeah, so they had that. And then they basically had archaeologists and stuff like that. Yeah. And basically, they were just setting up the whole entire story. The fact that you have Mark Wahlberg, who I'm not going to say quote unquote replace Shia LaBeouf, but he quote unquote replaced Shia LaBeouf. But one reason why I really want to do this review is because of freaking damn Tessa, his freaking daughter. Tessa pisses me the frick off. She does. She pisses me the f off. And let me just go in the sidelines and say, in the Hunger Games, when Rue was basically introduced and everything, I saw Rue as a freaking daughter. I saw her as a daughter. I actually believe that if I did have a daughter and I would actually have to figure out something, figure out what my daughter would kind of look like, I would basically say, that's my girl. And as soon as she freaking died, everyone who wasn't looking at me, yeah, they wouldn't know the fact that my eyes were turning original green, my hair was turning original blonde. I was straight up turning Super Saiyan. I swear if I was in that movie, you would basically say, and me turning into a freaking Super Saiyan, going to the person who killed Rue, and straight up shoot a freaking hole in his chest, and then beat the snot out of his freaking damn body. But in this one, basically when it comes to me doing the whole parenting thing, and I'm like, oh man, that would so be my child. In this one, basically, I saw my lifestyle, or what will be my future lifestyle, even though I would be better off than Mike Wahlberg's character. Most likely, when it comes to free time, even though I would be playing with my children, when it comes to free time and they're asleep or something, I would most likely be downstairs tinkering with what I do best. So to actually have a daughter that resembles like, yeah, I could actually have a daughter like that. The fact that she could freaking tear me off and say, oh, what a piece of junk and everything. I'm like, oh, hell no. Yeah, yeah. I was straight up like, oh, hell no, daughter. You freaking call this a piece of junk. You know, there's so many freaking devices I have created, and they're in freaking damn stores. This freaking creation is getting you through freaking college. Heck, through freaking high school because you go to a private school. So, shut the hell up. You're not your freaking mother. Yeah, and that's what just pissed me off. The fact that Tessa actually thinks that she's able to freaking say, oh no, Dad, it's not right. It's a piece of junk. And she treats it badly and everything. I mean, you had the Walkman, she tossed it, and there's another thing, I see a CD player, she tossed it. Not with care at all. I mean, one thing about daughters is that you're supposed to actually support your fathers. That's one thing you do. That's why there's a such thing as daddy's little girl. So, for her, it basically went from I don't really give a crap about this character. I mean, the character when you first introduced, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, she's okay. I'm not gonna be like one of the ones who's like ogling her like Megan. You did with Megan Fox in the replacement of Megan Fox, but still, you was like, oh, she's an okay character. I mean, I'm not even interested in seeing her in that way. So yeah. But it basically got real as soon as it's like, oh, look at that. He's an inventor. He's an actual tinkerer, like I would like to do. So it's kind of like, yeah, it makes sense. And like, yeah, you know what? Shoot, if she was my daughter, that's just not gonna fly. None of that crap is gonna fly. So, anyways, yeah, her mother, his wife, died somehow. Died of natural causes. And oh yeah, let's not forget that when they were driving, she was with her friends and they were driving her home. You basically see on a poster board, "Remember Chicago," and then they give you this hotline to call if you see any Transformers. Which, if you watch my Transformers rant, I hated the idea that you pick freaking Chicago to do crap in. Why not Hollywood? Why not New York City? Everyone loves to destroy New York City. Or Washington D.C. for that matter. Yeah, especially from one of the Die Hard movies. Yeah, they kind of victimized Washington D.C., but they made you think that they blew up the White House. Anyways, yeah. Um, but I'm glad that this one actually is. Most of it is in Chicago. I mean, some little piece. It's like a little bitty piece that they still go into Chicago, but the rest of it goes into freaking China. Anyway, let's go back to Tessa. Tessa, it just pissed me off. So basically, I kind of went a little bit fast on this. Let's just do a little track back. So basically, we got introduced to Mark Wahlberg's character and T.J. Miller's character. So they basically go around and buy items or electronics that can be fixed up and sold for a bigger profit than what they actually sacrificed for. Which basically, Mike Wahlberg's character didn't have much money, but TJ Miller character had money. So they were using his money to buy some things, which they did. And meanwhile, while it was in the theater, one thing that's crazy, two things is crazy. One thing is just the fact of they found a football and Mike Wahlberg, that was a freaking foreshadowing moment. The fact that he's able to throw a football, because that does come into play later in the movie, which I do have to admit that's kind of funny, but on the other hand, it's just kind of funny, I guess, but still, whatever. Anyways, while in the freaking theater, they found a freaking truck, which is like, how did freaking Optimus Prime fit in the damn theater? There has to be like some freaking hole, big fat hole somewhere, unless it's like the theater that I kind of looked at. I was like nearby the freaking school's theater that I went to, and their theater did have like a place of how they can actually have a car driven in. So if it's like that, then okay, that makes sense. But other than that, it's kind of like, yeah, where's the freaking hole he busts through to transform in that? So, anyways, yeah. So Mike Brownberg brought back the thing, and meanwhile, his daughter was up there. Apparently, she was with some boy on a freaking webcam. Even though I didn't think much of it, even though she did say "Hi, baby," I figured it was more like it's online dating. Chances are, she just has this guy she's talking to online, and yeah, it's nothing really serious. It's just that. So basically, she came down. She was like, "Oh my God, Daddy, you bought a freaking damn truck! Oh my God!" And I'm like, "Shut the hell up! It's his freaking job." I mean, he's trying to be an entrepreneur and everything, and you're just screeching at him. Even though, if you let him do his job more, chances are you might actually get some more money here, honey. Seriously. And also, you also see her when she got dropped off. She got mail, and it turned out that she was denied of student aid. Even though it's kind of like, well, how good of a student are you, girl? Seriously, how good of a student are you? And then you basically find out later that, oh, I'll talk about that as soon as we get to that point, though. Anyways, basically, he was with the truck, and they were like, oh my gosh, and everything. And then some time has passed, and he basically say, "Hey, look, I think this guy's a transformer," and he puts the jumper cables on, and basically have like a crazy thing happening, and you know, Optimus saying, "Calling all Autobots were being hunted down," and you have the freaking truck rocking back and forth and stuff, and then basically now it comes to the point of freaking T.J. Miller characters like, "Oh my gosh, it's a transformer! We could get money. We can actually get a cash prize of $25,000. Hell yeah. Or $100,000. Oh, hell the yeah. 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 So it's kind of like, really, dude? Really? I mean, seriously? Seriously, man? And then the freaking daughter, too, was in that idea of, yeah, we should so freaking turn him in. We need to call right now. And you also get the landlady, which that happened, like, eventually. Yeah, it happened within this timeline. In fact, the landlady put a freaking eviction notice on there, and she was like, "Oh, everybody, oh, check this out. Isn't this a nice house? It's a nice property, isn't it?" And then I'm like, "Are you been kidding me?" Yeah, which I was okay on that part. The fact that he took a freaking baseball bat and freaking threw it and hit people and made them go away, and she freaking drove on his freaking dang grass. The good news is that she wasn't the one who called, which it basically came to the pack of who did it. Anyways, I'm getting too far yet again, so we basically have Optimus who finally gets out of his thing, and you also see that there was some shrapnel inside of him, and he's definitely hurt bad. He's hurt very bad. Just like what my mom said, it kind of seems like the whole repairing job takes more time than what they gave him, which means that Optimus Prime should actually have been a little bit more hurt and less able to actually help himself. But for some reason, that was enough time, and guess who shows up? None other than the freaking task force who takes down Transformers. And it comes now to the freaking question of who did it? Which one of you dumbasses called? Because it's like what people say, you can't get crap for free. You so can't get anything for free, because if you try to get something for free money, it's nothing. It doesn't really mean that. It doesn't mean that you'll get away scot-free. Sadly, there's a price to pay, and because of what's going on here and the fact that Optimus actually hid, basically you had Tessa get a gunshot to her head. And not only that, but the freaking sooner or later, basically, as soon as Optimus showed himself, guess what? Their freaking house gets exploded. So that means that definitely, no, it couldn't have been the landlord lady. She wouldn't have been that stupid enough to be like, oh, damn it. Well, even though she would have used the money, I don't even know. Would she be stupid enough to be like, oh, well, at least he's gone now. I'm going to just use this cash money and build this freaking house back up again. Yeah, I don't think she's that stupid to actually be like that. And then she only gets like, what, $2,000 out of that $25,000. Yeah, I don't think she's that stupid. But anyways, yeah, we find out who did it. And we also get to find out, oh well, the daughter actually has a boyfriend, a secret boyfriend, even though he told her time and time again, me and your mom did this crap, and I promised her I will have a better. I'll basically make you get to graduation, high school graduation. So yeah, it turns out she went behind his back and got a boyfriend, and heck, even 2 or 3 years ago, she had a freaking boyfriend. It's like, damn, really? Really? You talk back to him and everything, and you have a secret boyfriend? It's like, seriously? Seriously? Yeah, it's like, yeah, you shouldn't freaking damn talk back if you have something to hide, you dumbass. It's like, seriously. Yeah, and then she also wore some messed up short shorts that incredibly almost can show you her panties, which, seriously. Seriously. I get that she's supposed to be eye candy, but really? Really, man? Really? But anyways, yeah, so the dude turns out to be a freaking driver, and he's 20 freaking damn years old, when she's just 17, but they have the whole Romeo and Juliet's clause that makes him date. And then while they were driving, basically he's a good driver, and now they're having a chase scene. Basically, oh yeah, and he was able to get one of those fly cameras things. Yeah, he was able to get one of those. So anyways, basically they were driving, right? And then you find out that TJ Miller's character is the reason why they freaking did it. And before that, you basically get to see the whole idea of, oh my gosh, it's like, but the cash money, we get cash money, right? We get cash money. Hey, stop hurting me. Oh, I'm like, yeah, you need to get punched in the face, man. You seriously need to get punched in the face. That's all I really wanted from TJ Miller's character, is most likely get punched in the face, or while they're all rioting, you're like, hey, wait a minute, you freaking told on us. Open the door. It's like, yeah, so maybe Mark Wahlberg goes in the back, open the door, and have his daughter kick him out, saying this is Sparta or something. Boom! Kick them out of the freaking car. That's what you get. You fend for your damn self, because you're the one who freaking brought on this crap. Yeah. Well, anyway, so you just have this crazy thing that's going on here. Now it's a chase. And okay, let me go backtrack to what happened with the gun incident. So basically, they were hounding him on saying, where's Optimus? Where's Optimus? If you don't tell where Optimus is, we're going to kill your girl. Right in front of you. You're going to kill your girl. Which basically will lead, this part right here will just lead to me saying stuff as soon as we get to this point. But anyways, back to what we were at, which was the freaking chase scene. So, I would like to say, side note, so this is why you didn't get the scholarship. You basically was spending time with him instead of studying. So you were not the freaking straight A student that way you would figure you are. Instead, you're maybe a B or C student, which makes sense why you didn't get a scholarship anyways. Which, yeah, that makes sense. That's how stupid you are. I mean, come on. Could have just freaking went by his rules, and chances are you most likely got a freaking student aid. Yeah, the whole. But then she wouldn't have any interaction with boys. Chances are she would have interaction with boys. It's just that she wouldn't have a boyfriend, but she could still at least flirt with boys. Which brings another side note of, never mind, I'm not going to talk about what my daughters will go through, but let's continue on. So he's just driving and driving and driving. And then they go to this abandoned place, which turns out to actually be a track they created. Yeah, and then you had some messed up humor where they basically is like, yeah, take the throttle, yeah, work it and stuff. He's like, what? And he's like, yeah, she knows how to work that thing. And like, wow, really? It's like, really? You don't have any reverence to the freaking father. That's the only thing you have to do when it comes to dating freaking girls, is that you have to at least show reference to the father. Heck, show reference to the parents. Because if you don't show reference to the parents, guess what? Sooner or later, they'll figure out some way to say, bye-bye, loser. Because that's just how it goes. So anyways, yeah, they had this whole thing. The bad guys get crashed and stuff. And Then after that, they make it. Yeah, they make it on the ramp and they go, woo, yeah, and everything. And then lockdown comes out of nowhere. Freaking goes and everything. And freaking bam. What the fuck? Bam. Yeah, the car got destroyed and they have to run. And Optimus is right there. Oh, yeah. And in between this whole entire chase scene, you have Optimus jumping roof to roof and fighting some of the bounty hunters. Which I could have sworn that those are actually human made Transformers, but it turns out no. And let me backtrack. I kind of forgot this thing that was in there, which was in between. I think it's like in the middle of it all. So in the middle, you basically see like all the humans because they have to have the human SWAT team in introed in or yeah, sandwiched in. So basically, they're in there. They're hunting down a freaking transformer. We, I would say, quote unquote, we figure out that it's supposed to be a Decepticon they're hunting for. That is a Decepticon, but it turns out it was no other than a freaking Autobot Ratchet, which is sad. He actually hid in an old boat and then he was able to flee and he when the car mode drove away he turns into regular robot and he says I'm an Autobot, don't shoot, and they basically shoot off his freaking damn leg. And then you have yeah, he's basically trying to tell him, hey, I'm getting hunted down, that's why I was hiding. And they're like, oh yeah, oh, and then freaking Lockdown comes out of nowhere and Lockdown basically just shoots freaking Ratchet and then takes Ratchet's spark for his own or whatever, and then that's it. And poor Ratchet. Yeah, so basically they take Ratchet back to the company that I'll talk about eventually. Yeah, so anyways, back to what's going on. So they're shooting. So Lockdown is shooting them, and TJ Miller's character was sadly too stupid and too slow to make it that he actually freaking gets solidified as a statue. And there's so many people who are like, while he's getting solidified as a statue, that freaking Lockdown will actually kick his freaking carcass and turn it to dust. But he didn't do it. He just jumped over it. Which I figured that would have been a too overkill to touch. Heck, even killing him is overkill to touch because he just called and got everyone screwed over. I would just say he deserved to get punched in the face and thrown out of the car. That's it. But as for this, yeah, this is way too much. I mean, seriously, this is way too much. But whatever. Whatever, man. I mean, I I don't really think he deserved all that. But whatever. So yeah, they go into Optimus, and Optimus takes them to some abandoned gas station, and that's where they get to talk. And basically, you find out about the Romeo and Juliet clause that Texas has, which I'm not sure if they have it or not, but chances are, I bet it's an educational moment to help all those who out there who are like, oh, I did date this girl in high school. And like, yeah, I could so use that still. Like, jeez. Which I do know someone who actually did that in high school too, but it was a boy girl relationship, not the girl boy. It's a boy girl relationship, not a girl boy, like in this one. Well, technically, yeah. So, yeah, the girl is the oldest, the boy was the youngest. But in this movie, it's reversed. Anyways, yeah, so you get this crazy thing, and then you basically see them pillage for parts and stuff that he will be able to use, which it does come in handy. And they basically sleep in there, and she's like, I don't think we could sleep in here. It's not comfy or anything at all. And then you see her and she's asleep, and like, seriously. Anyways, those two talk. The guy talks and guy and the girl talks. It's crazy and stuff. So yeah, I mean, really. Yeah, that other boy and girl talk and crap and all that. Yeah. Okay, let me continue on. So, yeah, so Optimus. basically went to go see if anyone's following him or not. So as soon as he found out not feeling there, no one's chasing after him. They basically go to a place to check out the flying thing because he's a tinkerer. So he actually was able to get the fly thing to work, the fly cam, I guess you can call it. And he basically takes a credit card over there and freaking flies it over there and then tries to access his bank account, even though because it seems like he didn't have any money to begin with. I'm not sure why exactly he did that besides seeing if they have him quarantined and ready to freaking get hunted down and shot up. Which that's what happened at this discount fireworks store. The freaking police came, wee, 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 straight up corner and everything, and then we get the basic. Oh yeah, and in between this, you actually get the whole president and CIA talk. The president sends an aide over there to get some intel on how they're killing Transformers and making it a safer place. And then it turns out that because of him, he basically said, yeah, the Autobots and Decepticons deserve to be destroyed. And you're like, wait, but isn't Autobots our friends? And you're like, yeah, but they all came in here illegally. And because they came here illegally, I think it's only fair that they all die because, hey, they all need to die. So that's what Kelsey Grammer's Kelsey Grammer's in this movie. So Kelsey Grammer, that is what he says, and that was like in there somewhere before. So yeah, basically when he got the robot fly to work, basically they showed that he showed the dude that he hacked in there, and I think we get to see the other guy that was doing it, and basically what happens there is, sorry about that. So basically what happens there is just the fact of they were like, oh crap, we're compromised. He got the freaking thing and stuff like that, and then yeah, I kind of getting fuzzy a little bit. Kind of getting a little bit fuzzy, but I'm gonna try to push on. So after that, they basically go and look for the other Autobots. Yeah, I think that's the time where he's like, yeah, I'm going to go look for the other Autobots, and he basically scans a car. He scans a truck and basically get the fancier model, and it's like, yeah, it's time for us to come back. And it's kind of funny when it said in the back, I think it said it said something funny in the back. He had a bumper sticker that was funny as hell in the back. Homer, come on, you dumb bastard. Yeah, but seriously, yeah. And then Bumblebee showed up, which, as you can hear from my from my Transformer rant and my spoiler-free review, I technically think Bumblebee should not actually be in this movie anymore. I'm just saying, if you're going to freaking say, okay, Sam, bye-bye, it's kind of like, yeah. So if you say Sam, bye-bye, I think technically Bumblebee should be with Sam because that's how it goes. Because, come on, man. They have a freaking bond, and I think it's not fair for you to actually be like, okay, well, Sam can fend for his own self, even though they're hunting down freaking Autobots and Decepticons, which, personally, I'm just saying, I think technically all the characters from the first three movies are most likely dead. And this is where the gunplay for Tessa actually comes into play for me. It's the fact of, look at that. We're going to kill his daughter. So chances are is that, and also side note, is the fact of they were hunting Decepticons in the second movie and was interrupted in the third movie due to freaking Sentinel Damn Prime. But still, yeah, they were really hunting Autobots anyways. So why in the world did they even have to change it? Most likely because, well, CIA is the CIA, and because Chicago happened, which I hate saying that. I hate saying that. But since that happened, the CIA took part and basically told the army to screw off or something. And I would just say that Sam will be able to freaking figure out that the Autobots are getting killed because a later scene proves it, and chances are he would basically be like, no, I'm not selling out Bumblebee, no. and everything. And it's like, no, you're not getting those mini cons. And I think basically what happened next is pam, 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 he's dead. And pam, 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 he killed the girlfriend too. And I'm not sure, chances are that the parents will be pissed off as well. But I think chances are the parents would have been paid off. I think if it comes to payoff, the parents will be suspects of that. And also the dude that wrote all the books, chances are he gets a cease and desist, and he most likely got paid off because hey, he's rich anyways, and yeah, I think he might actually got paid off, and he's maybe alive somewhere. As for the army dudes and everything, from the previous movies, we already seen that they have loyalty to Transformers, so that means that if they're still going after Decepticons and helping out the Autobots, they most likely would have tried to gone into the CIA or at least became part of that SWAT team. The messed up part is chances are they might have actually been like, oh, you guys are killing Autobots too? That's not right. And then chances are they would have... Homer! Damn it! You don't... But still, chances are they would have actually have... They most likely actually have done something to been like, those guys, we've been through it all. You guys are not going to come just go and kill them because they're the good guys. And then chances are there would have been a big fight with the army versus the CIA. And chances are the army guys basically got killed because, well, they most likely didn't have all of the army to back them up. Because notice what happened in Dark of the Moon. It was like a small technic group that was there in Dark of the Moon. So sorry to be like a total darkness and death is the only answer, but I would say if they didn't freaking even mention Sam or any of them, I would just say, yeah, they're dead. They're all freaking dead. Because that's what really it is. I mean, come on. If they haven't been mentioned, most likely they're never intending to mention any of them ever again, then I would just say, well, they're all dead. That's all what's going on here. They're all fucking dead. Anyways, let's continue on, shall we? Besides this dark vision of, yes, every single person from the last 3 movies are all dead. And I guess the kicker just before we continue on with the movie is the fact of, look at all the Autobots that used to be there. All the Autobots that were introduced and then in the next movie they disappeared. Weird. I mean, yeah, Jazz, we already know what happened to Jazz, and Jazz didn't come back because we already know what happened to him. But you do have RC that was in the second movie. And you also had the 2 twins, Mudflap and Skids. Those 2 didn't return back. And let's see, is there anyone else that I forgot? I think it's about all. And then the third one, which is kind of funny, because Sideswipe was actually released in between Transformers and Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. So, yeah, it's kind of funny that his toy was released and he looks just like his toy when they released it, but yeah, he didn't return back for this movie. So Sideswipe is dead. We already know that freaking Ironhide is dead. We saw that. Was there anyone else that... Yeah, I think that's about all that I remember that was in there. I bet there's like a little bit more, and of course Jetfire is dead too, so yeah. So if you don't see the Transformers back anytime, like the ones that you've seen in the previous movies, then chances are they're freaking dead. That's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. Anyways, alright, I'm done with talking about death and destruction. But let's continue on. So we're now at the point of he's calling the Autobots, and Bumblebee shows up in his raggedy looking thing. Not even the original one. Even if they try to get his original look, remember, in the first movie, they auctioned off the first car of Bumblebee. I don't know who got it. It's crazy enough that they actually don't show, oh, the winner of this car is, and then they showed the dude driving off with it. It would have been cool. All the freaking giveaways with all the cars, including like the Pikachu car that was in 1999 that was raffled off. We could at least get some way to know, oh, that's the person who has it. But I guess chances are they'll maybe have a TV show about it. But anyways, whatever. All right, yeah. So they all meet up in the freaking desert, and when you see freaking Hound jumping in the freaking desert, I went Bulkhead, and I was like, no, 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 it's Hound, not Bulkhead, it's Hound. But thanks for Transformers Prime, and I think there's like at least one episode reminding me of them fighting in the desert. I basically said Bulkhead, no way, and it was like, no, 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 it's Hound. Remember, it's Hound. I basically have Drift. Drift. Oh my gosh, I bet so many people had to been pissed. So many people who are collecting had to be pissed or be like, ooh, I can't wait for this wave 2. His Drift actually came as a freaking helicopter. Not a car, helicopter. I think he does have a car form as well, but still, he mostly comes in a helicopter. Crazy. And you also had Crosshairs, and that's it. I basically gonna tell you that all three of those new characters they gave us, I would definitely buy toys for them if they show up in freaking clearance sale. I would definitely buy those. Because look at Hound. Hound got lots of freaking guns, and you even they show it even in the movies that he has so many guns it's not even funny. And as for Drift, Drift have swords. You saw that. And Crosshairs, well, Crosshairs didn't show he has a lot of guns, but you saw he had like 2 signature guns. So anyways, yeah, they all said, we're back, yeah, the mighty leader is back, and then they made fun of Bumblebee, of how Bumblebee wasn't a good leader. Like I said, I rather, if they not say anything about Sam, that at least they hint that Bumblebee is with Sam, and he's protecting Sam, even though it wouldn't actually be protection because, well, he would be with Sam, but at least Sam will be okay because Sam knows too much anyways, so even without Bumblebee, Sam would be dead. Sam is dead. Alright, let's continue on. Yeah, let's continue on with this stupid thing. So, they camp out in the freaking desert, and Mike Wahlberg's character was able to hack in the fly thing, and basically shows that, yeah, they showed that Ratchet was getting shot. They showed that Michael Bay doesn't give a darn about freaking Target because he had a freaking Autobot with a Target logo all over him getting killed, and there's another person. Yeah. And I think at this point, this is where you get the dude that was doing the business. Yeah, dude that was actually doing the business stuff. And he basically owns KSI, and he was doing some experimental stuff. He doing some weird experiments over there. He basically has Transformers. He created his own Transformers, and he's melting every single Transformer he finds. He kills and uses them for his own purposes of creating Transformium, which that doesn't really have a... That's not really a good name. I mean, it's not really that creative. It's kind of like, yeah, Transformer, Transformium. Yeah, that's so smart. So with that said, I would just, yeah, look at that. And then he basically tried to model Galvatron out of Optimus Prime, but yet it's like, why in the world does it look like Megatron? And then we find out why, but still, damn, he's ugly anyways. Yeah, Megatron and freaking Galvatron, they're ugly as hell. And I'm shocked that they didn't just go with the idea of Galvatron is Megatron's son or anything, but whatever. Yeah, and then you have Stinger, who was inspired by Bumblebee, which you didn't get to see in this part where I'm talking, but yeah. And then basically you had those two meet up and talk and saying, hey, it's like, hey, you got someone who's freaking compromising and think you could actually be pinned too. And it's like, oh my gosh, no way in freaking hell. And yeah, all that stuff. And then he's like, yeah, I sacrificed my country and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I sacrificed my life and stuff. And it's like, talk. And he's like, yeah. So what the Autobots basically do is they find an abandoned place and make operations there. And while making operations there, the freaking dumb piece of crap daughter goes to her freaking boyfriend and they're spooning and cuddling and crap. I'm like, are you serious? The dad is right freaking there. I mean, come on. Why the yeah, you see, this is all right. This is like a good way of showing this is how you lose your boyfriend very easily. Yeah, this is how the boyfriend loses all respect very easily. Is while your parents are in the freaking damn room, or her parents in the damn room, you actually spoon and cuddle and crap. Yeah, even though it's not really spooning and cuddling, but yeah, cuddling, yes, spooning, no, but still, yeah, the man, the real. Yeah, and then Optimus Prime. Basically, it's kind of crazy that the Transformers themselves they're not ruly, which is kind of funny. And when I look at the Transformers and they're all fighting with each other, it's kind of like, oh, it's like the Ninja Turtles. Remember when the Ninja Turtles actually fought amongst themselves and argued and stuff? Yeah, it's like, yeah, they were at freaking April O'Neil's apartment slash father's shop. It's like, yeah, I remember that one. They just need Master Splinter and it'll all be okay again. It's just it's funny to actually think of it. Yeah, and then Michael Bay actually is doing a Ninja Turtle film. It's kind of funny. Well, anyways, let's continue on, shall we? So, yeah, basically they found an operation place, and their idea now is to go into the freaking corporation and figure out what's going on there. But technically, the real big thing that's going on is to stop everything that's going on there. So we basically see the freaking minicon, which notice the fact the only person who gets lots of minicons is freaking Sam. Which basically you can say that Sam had lots of minicons and he basically told the freaking CIA, no, I'm not giving you them. And he most likely killed him. And they took him anyways. And they killed Wheelie. They killed the other dude with the big mouth. And I would just say, for fairness, maybe they had 3 to 5 more. 3 more. Yeah, 1 to 3 more mini cons. And they killed 2 of them. And left the one that was translating there. Or they didn't kill any of them. They just had that one right there who was there translating. Yeah, so it's crazy that they have like lots and lots of freaking damn bodies in there. And I basically go to the point of saying, Mr. Stupid, let me guess, you didn't get the actual parts of Transformers that's in the bottom of the sea, did you? Because I would figure you do know about that, and I figure you'll actually will get that freaking big magnet that they actually use that for, and try to actually get those pieces that was in the freaking water too. Because it's kind of like, yeah, I would figure you would know about that, and you actually got those pieces as well. But there is no mentioning that they actually did do that, so it's kind of like, yeah. When you lose all the freaking transformium crap, in quotations, yeah, I bet sooner or later you'll actually be smart enough to say, oh, what about the stuff that's in the water that happened in the first time that Transformers actually had a battle in a place? You would figure, yeah, they would actually have been smart enough to do that. Of course, one other thing that's kind of funny is the fact that in the freaking Transformer movies, notice that all the bad guys had a mini con. Yeah, you had the freaking boombox guy. And then the second one you had, I guess Willie does count, but I was talking about the freaking human one, the human transformer. And then the third one you had freaking Laserbeak who can turn into a TV and everything else. And this one, technically the Decepticons don't even show up to like the end part, I guess. Now let's carry on. So they basically go into freaking building. They make a makeshift ID card, and they had a funny thing of father and I'll say quotation son-in-law. And he was like, all right, so I heard a freaking sound a month ago. Was that you? And then he was like, I could just tell him right now, I had a good life. You are starting your life, but I had a good life. I'm okay spending time in jail. And then he tried to say, hey, sir. It's funny. It's like, yes, yes, it was me. And it's like, never mind. And then the dude was like, yeah, he closed the door and made sure he stays inside. And yeah, it's like, is this for cataloging? And it's like, yeah. And then they drove in there, and then Bumblebee got pissed off by Stinger, who was the spitting image of Bumblebee, which I would like to say I thought Stinger would actually be, I thought Stinger would actually have been an Autobot, and that's like a human made one that didn't go bad, so bad. Well, it's not really anyone's fault that he actually went bad because, well, yeah, I'll tell you as soon as he gets to the point of having to explain it. But anyways, they basically made it into the freaking place, and Bumblebee beat the crap out of Stinger, and then they got the boy in trouble, which I was like, yeah, he deserved it. Well, Mike Wahlberg makes it in there, sneaks in, and now he actually is learning about things, and you actually get to see the girl paleontologist who talks about all that stuff and everything, and yeah, and then basically he gets caught because they're like, oh, the scanning caught two freaking cards scanned at the same time at different times, and they're like, oh, okay, we gotta lock things down, and then because of the freaking CIA dude, it's like, stop that guy, and they were chasing after the guy. Sadly, the guy got caught, and then it comes to the point of rescue slash break crap down, where all the Autobots come out of there, break in there, freaking said screw everything, screw freaking humans after all this were done and crap, and then they get to the freaking downstairs and they destroy mostly everything, and they broke out the minicon. And the minicon told them about all how the freaking Megatron, for some creepy reason, has freaking flies crawling out of his freaking head and infecting Galvatron. Even though I would rather get the idea of, well, notice the fact that they have cords hooked to Megatron. Couldn't they have had, like, the cores being used and he's hacking through the cores and going straight up to Galvatron and basically implanting lots and lots of stuff instead of having to use the freaking damn fly mosquito crap and be like, nyeh, 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 nyeh. I'm like, okay, that's freaking creepy as hell. And plus, I don't even remember freaking Transformers could do that. Because if Megatron could have freaking done that, then that means that mostly all of the freaking Autobots could have been reprogrammed and everything. So, yeah. Throwaway thing. You could actually just use the cords. You could actually use the cords and kept your money in the pocket for those flies that happened. So, yeah. Yeah, so basically they break him out, they destroy most things, and they basically demand the dude to not do this anymore, that this is their technology, or that's their blood and crap, and they don't have any right to actually control or use or even anything. After that, they just escape and go to a freaking train thing, and no, that's afterwards. Yeah, before that, they basically are driving away. Which the other question is, how the frick do you know their names? I mean, yeah, go watch the movie again. You notice that they have them on the freaking screen, and you have their names on the freaking screen. Like in a square, you say, "Oh, there's Crosshairs." In another square, there's freaking Hound. In another square, there's Bumblebee. In another square, there's Optimus. In another square, there's Drift. Which is kind of the crazy point of, how the frick do you even know them if they're going underground? Yeah, I mean, Bumblebee and Optimus, it makes sense. I would have rather they just not have the names there and just have the five bogies. But anyways, whatever. They released Galvatron, they released a Stinger, and yeah, they showed that their human Transformers are crazy as hell, and they're kind of unbeatable and stuff, in quotations. And Galvatron actually talked, and you're like, how the did he talk? And how the frick is he shooting misfires and stuff? Yeah, while Stinger is okay. Stinger actually is still cooperating. Which you had like lots of things happen. The fact of that Optimus ram a freaking truck, and the dude look who's driving the truck is like, "What the hell?" and everything, and yeah, you had like lots of things. I do have to admit, there's like some things in the movie that, given the perspective, thanks to John, I'm like, yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, they should have been hurt and scraped and stuff, but yeah, they come out scot free. I mean, it's a movie though. It's a movie, so I let it go. So, anyways, yeah, they make it. Yeah, even though they don't get caught, which, yeah, I don't really know what to say anything else. Just the fact that they fall to the other side of the bridge, and they all scry. The real thing I gotta point to, not the fact of they all should be hurt and splattered or such like that. It's more the fact of the damn girl. You know, I know it's a freaking damn movie. That's how damn girls supposed to act in the movie. But I'm like, as soon as you have 5 seconds of, oh my gosh, 5 seconds, 1, 2, 3, go, run, dive in there. I don't give a darn if you would have dived to your damn boyfriend, but I would have preferred she dived to her daughter. I mean, it's her father, not daughter. My gosh, fusion. But anyways, yeah. If she dived to her father, I would have been okay with it. Just the fact of she's out of the way. Now sorry. Galvatron and Optimus can fight without any delay. And then you have Lockdown coming out of nowhere, and you're like, all right, call Galvatron back and everything. And then you basically had Lockdown and Optimus fight, and then Optimus quotations lose, and gets caught. But of course, since my idea didn't work, and the fact of, let me just go in the side note of, she was stupid enough to let 3 seconds, 5 seconds go pass by, or she could have actually have ran to the other side into the freaking grass. Just like in the Amazing Spider-Man, you had freaking 3 to 5 minutes for Uncle Ben to kick the freaking gun into the street. Yes, given he kicked the gun in the street, chances are the freaking murderer dude would have had a knife and stuck the knife into Uncle Ben. But I would rather you had the knife action than, oh, he's too stupid. He's just staring at the gun and staring at the person. Then, oh my gosh, he's trying to wrestle with him. It's like, you could have used the 5 seconds to kick the gun in the street. I don't give a darn if you would have been like, oh, he has an extra knife. He has a knife, though. He stabs him. Or, oh, it turns out he actually has another gun he can use and shoots Uncle Ben. It's like, yeah. I'm like, seriously, 3 to 5 minutes? Is that how dumb people react to some things? Is that you have 3 to 5 minutes to do crap? Anyways, yeah, so she gets caught, and Octopus probably gets caught too, and now she's all like, Daddy, Daddy, save me, Daddy, 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 I need help, Daddy, Daddy, ah! Which, yeah, whatever. And then you get to the ship part. So, besides the ship part, you also have the other things. So, one thing that happened is the fact of the company now is going to freaking China. Because, well, everything is gone awry, and they basically need to go to China. Which I think that's actually even further back. But still, yeah, they decide to go to China. They pack up everything, and you're wondering why Galvatron did that crap. And then you're like, yeah, Galvatron is freaking malfunctioning and crap. And he's like, we need to fix it and everything. So, yeah, they go to China. But that's like a little bit later. But anyways, yeah, so now they have to go to ship. Which you had all the Autobots jump in the ship. And then you basically have this messed up remark of the boyfriend saying, I'm not here to save your daughter, I'm here to save my girlfriend. It's like, seriously? Dude, seriously? But anyways, yeah, so they got in the freaking place. Meanwhile, the freaking girl basically gets tossed in the trash, and turns out the trash is none other than a freaking melting pot. And then it's like, oh my god, they're like, seriously, get out of the damn car already. And so she gets in the car, they're like, oh my Like, I would have freaking started beating the snot out of them. But anyways, they really wanted the car. So if she would have just got out of the car and run, the freaking other bots that was there, which they don't look they don't look transformish to me. But anyways, those bots actually cared about the freaking car and throw the car in instead of the girl to throw her in. So it's kind of like, yeah, you needed to give extra instructions when it comes to that. And plus, I guess Lockdown is too stupid enough to know that, oh yeah, the girl can just get out of the car at any point. Well, he's not. Yeah, he's too stupid to know that girls can do that or humans can do that. So yeah, kind of a big letdown on his part. The fact that he's like, yeah, throw the human away. It's like, you know that she is in a car, right? That means that she's able to get out of the car unless you freaking lock it and bust it and make it sure that she's not able to get out. Anyways, let's continue on besides me saying, yeah, Tessa should just die. Tessa should just die. And so, anyways, yeah, you had lots of crap happening in the friggin' ship. Especially, the actual thing of, they had beast. They're not even beast transformers. It's more like they had dogs and everything. And the dogs are hunting down people. And, well, hunting down him and hunting down intruders and stuff. So, let me get to the point of what basically happened with Optimus in Lockdown. So he basically hung Optimus in a freaking quote unquote treasure trove or a torture chamber thing or the chokey. Yeah, I think it's more like the chokey. The fact that it has nails everywhere and you have to stay very still or you'll get poked. So it's kind of like, yeah. So, yeah, he said, I collected all the knights and now as our collection's complete, I'm just gonna get out of here. Yeah, screw it all. And then also, oh yeah, before anything, before the whole they jumped in there to save her, you basically had the bad guys, human bad guys, come in there and basically say, all right, so you got your Optimus, now give us what we want. And they gave him the seed and they flew away, which the seed is basically the reason why the dinosaurs are dead and how those fossils of the fossils of the Tyrannosaurus and the other thing was all metal stuff. But I do have to admit one thing though. I figured that it was the freaking those two were actually Grimlock and the other guy, and there's more that's stuck like that. I figured that was something that was going to go on, but apparently not. They're just nothing but throwaway dinosaur fossils that are molten steel. Alright, let's continue on, shall we? So, let's see. Yeah, so, yeah, the bad guys, she was over there, she freed herself, and then the dogs are looking for her. Oh yeah, dogs and a robot thing is looking for her. So, she found a place to hide, and turns out it's like a freaking prison corridor, and she basically goes to, and I'm like, ew, what the it's that she goes to an alien dude that actually has a big long tongue, and the freaking damn alien is so sick that he actually wraps his freaking tongue around her freaking damn leg, which I'm like, ew, dude, ew. So luckily she cut it off and she was able to contain herself to not get caught. And then after that, it's basically the whole daddy to the rescue, even though it's in the freaking boyfriend's mind, it's like boyfriend to the rescue, hiya, and everything, which whatever. So basically, the Mike Wahlberg and the freaking boyfriend dude goes to like this freaking hall of weapons, and they actually found weapons that they can hold. And he gets a weapon, and the boyfriend gets a weapon, and then they get freaking cornered by the robot dudes. And well, the freaking boyfriend by stupid chicken default, because he basically went out there with a sword, dropped the sword, and said, "I surrender." I'm like, oh really? So you go to the freaking girlfriend's rescue, but you say you surrender. You risk yourself in a freaking car, and chances are you could actually end up like Earl Earnhardt Senior. Sorry, not Junior. Senior. Yeah, which sadly, I'm sorry to say that. I'm sorry to actually mention him. I don't think I should actually deserve to mention him, but I'm just saying the fact of it could end in a big, blooming, boom, gas, explosion, Michael Bay love it, death, but yeah, you could do that, and yet you're freaking coward at this crap? At this, you're a freaking coward. And you said you were going to go save your girlfriend, and instead you be a freaking damn coward. You threw it down, and yet they still fire, and you fired at them, and you backed away, even though you didn't pick up your sword again. I'm like, even though you're not going to use your damn sword, pick up the damn sword anyways, because it's better to have two swords, two gun swords, instead of one. But anyways, he helped Mike Wahlberg figure it out, and he used the sword gun and shot everyone and defended himself, and was able to make headway. But still, I'm like, dude, pick that crappy gun up. Pick that freaking damn sword up, dumbass. Like, seriously. Two is better than one. Even if you're not going to use it, we will basically find someone else who actually is going to be like, hey, I'll defend you guys too. Or basically the businessman that they end up with. Chances are he would actually manned up and freaking got the gun too and help do cover fire as well. But anyways, no, he left the freaking damn sword gun, and now they're on looking for the daughter. And it turns out the daughter is actually one freaking floor above them. But somehow they make it, and then the freaking Transformers found Optimus, freed Optimus. And not only that, but they freaking ejected the trophy room so they can escape. And Bumblebee, no, it's Crosshairs. Crosshairs got a vehicle. But that's after the whole thing. But anyways, yeah, so they found the daughter, and now because of Hound, they actually have anchors, and now they just freaking damaged the Chicago building. Thanks a lot, you bastards. But anyways, yeah, so because of the anchor, they're able to actually take those anchors and walk as if it's a tightrope. The girl's being a total coward. Oh wait. When they save the girl, when they meet up with the girl, she's basically like, "Oh, you came to save me," and she goes straight to the boyfriend. It's like, yeah. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah. He came to save you, yeah. The dude that was just about to say I surrender and most likely get killed, yeah, he went to save you. He doesn't deserve jack. We'll be back at these messages. He don't deserve. But anyways, let's continue on. So they're doing this tightrope thing. The girl's a dumb coward. She's like, I can't do this. I'd rather go on a ship. But guess what? The freaking dogs are right behind her and she doesn't know. And because Mike Wahlberg shot them, they're freaking like, oh hell no, we're not going to go on a tightrope. Let's bite all the freaking ropes off so they'll die. Yeah, so that was a smart thing to do. It was kind of funny. And Bumblebee finally comes to the rescue, beat the crap out of his dogs. Sadly, the dogs were able to make headway of the ropes, and the ropes break. But Bumblebee was able to capture them and everything and break into a building. Which I do have to admit, because of John pointing it out, yeah, it does make sense that they should have been hurt. But this is kind of a kid's movie anyways, so it's like, yeah. I think it's only fair that they don't die. Yeah, it's only fair that they don't die. So anyways, with that said, wow, Transformers, a box office hit? Really? Okay, anyways, besides looking at all this crazy stuff. So, yeah, Crosshairs comes with a vehicle, and they all jump in the vehicle, and ta-da. Ta-da, they're now all in the vehicle, and yeah, you basically had Bumblebee doing cover fire and Crosshairs driving, and then Crosshairs had enough of it and said, screw this. Bumblebee, you drive, and then he taught Mike Wahlberg and the other dude how to actually use the guns, which I thought that they were using foreshadowing of the girl knowing how to freaking do the steering wheel crap, that she would actually have took command of the guns and basically Okay, good. So yeah, I basically thought they were gonna use the guns. She and her boyfriend would use the guns and do a co-op thing of it, but apparently not. So okay, whatever. So with that said, yeah, basically Crosshairs did the thing that we saw in the freaking Super Bowl commercial, which is basically the idea that, one second. Ouch. Ouch, that sucks. That really sucks. Ouch. Alright, well, anyways. So, yeah, basically, you had the little battle that happened in Chicago, but this time it's not really that much damage, and they were able to fly away and go hide themselves. Which I think this is about the part where they had the train thing and the fact that they had the minicon. The minicon talked to him saying, "Yeah, I translated all the stuff, and Megatron was not all that dead, and he was able to program Galvatron and everything." And he was able to call him and say, "Hey, you shouldn't ever activate Galvatron because Megatron basically polluted him." And luckily, the dude listened. That's the good news. And then the police came and at least the father was smart enough to say, okay, what do you want to do? You want to get your normal life back and go to jail, or do you want to continue on with this journey that we have to take to make it so that we are not going to get arrested? Luckily, the girl was smart enough to say, okay, yeah. And it's like, okay, yeah. And he's like, the boyfriend's like, smart girl. And it's like, yeah, she takes after her mom and all that stuff. And then they make it to China because they need the seed. That's all that's left. They were like, they were gonna do this one more thing, and then after that, he's gonna be like, "Yeah, screw this, screw Earth. You guys can do whatever you want." With that said, basically, they made it to they made it to China. Sorry, not Chicago. They made it to China, and after that, you find out that holy frick, you. Oh wait, well, first, you had the dude that was pissed off. You had lockdown who was pissed off saying, "Oh, you took our freaking treasure trophy room. I'm gonna come down there. I'm gonna open up a can of whoopah." And yeah, basically, he returned for that. And okay, that's interesting. But yeah, he returned for that. And you also had Galvatron who actually activated himself and infected all of the Transformers that were 50 of them. So it's 51 of them. And he basically took that and said, all right, we're going to hunt down for the seed. And that's when it came to the fact of now it's time to run. Run, businessman, run. Even though I do have to admit, there is the first part of where the seed was given to the businessman and the talk of I had a dream once. A kid dreamed to make the world better, and yeah. And then Kelsey Grammer basically came and said, "Oh, you want to make it better, eh? So if you want to make it so much better, then yeah." So he's like, "Yeah, so okay then." He's like, "Well, what about me? I'm not rich. I mean, what happened to me? What's so special about you?" And it's like, wow, really? He's like, wow, really? But yeah, whatever. He basically just did that, and then after that, he basically had a time of his life. Not a time of his life, sorry. He basically just said, yeah, we're gonna have to kill him and kill Mark Wahlberg and everything and all that stuff. But whatever. So yeah, the robots basically. I mean, the Transformers is now basically under Megatron's control, which is like, oh damn, but whatever. So yeah. So, anyways, you basically have this whole entire war thing going on along with this. So you had like two things going on. You basically had the Decepticons, well, quote unquote, the Decepticons trying to get the freaking seed back, while you had the CIA trying to kill Mike Wahlberg. I think at least Mike Wahlberg. Now they're trying to kill everyone, but Mike Wahlberg is the one that they were able to track down easily. And there was also a sweet move that was happening, and you also have the China lady who was the whatever in the company in China, which I do have to admit she is quite cute. And it seems like they were trying to make a little secret relationship going on with him and her, which is kind of funny that in the so basically she's so bad that she was able to drive able to pay off some guy to get a motorcycle. After paid off a guy with some motorcycle, then she basically made it to a point on slipping because yeah, I'm almost like what the hell when she actually slipped in. Wow. Well, anyways, yeah, she basically slipped on some wet floor, and that's why the motorcycle crashed. So for anyone who's like, what the hell? Missing the balance on that is because it was a wet floor. So, anyways, they made it to a freaking elevator, but sadly, the elevator is too slow enough to close. And you had to press the button. But, anyways, they found him. She was able to knock the crap out of him. After one guy actually punched her or threw her, the dude that was in the freaking elevator manned up and said, "Hey, that's a young lady." Bam! Punched him in the face and went back into the freaking elevator, and they basically went up. I don't know where the guy went, but yeah, he went up. She protected him. So, anyways, yeah. After that, what happened is he was up on the roof with the freaking Sid, and he was just drinking his milk. Yeah, he opened the freaking fridge and drank a milk in a freaking juice box. Yeah, it was kind of funny, but I heard some people say, "What the hell?" Like, yeah, I was like, okay, that is kind of funny. That is kind of funny, especially after what he said about when I was a child. That was kind of funny. That was kind of funny bridging there. So, luckily, the ship came. They were able to give him a seed, but sadly, because the Decepticons are total D-bags or slaggers, freaking slags. They shot the freaking they shot the spaceship down, and you did have some of them jump out and protect the city and everyone else, especially the Seed. Yeah, so that happened. And then you had the elevator thing and the fact that it was in capacity and the dad had to, and then like now you're concerned for your dad, really? All those other times you're like boyfriend, 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 boyfriend. Now you're like dad. I'm like, you serious? You serious? Now you care for your dad? Seriously? So anyways, yeah, Mike Wahlberg got out of the elevator so he can go down, and the dude that was the head of the SWAT team, I guess you can call it, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, yeah, so he found him and he kept on shooting him and chasing after him, and then they basically made it to the point of where, oh, the football was foreshadowing. There's a football. He throws a football, kicked him out of the freaking window, dead. And as for Kelsey Grammer, he basically is trying to kill, and he's got pissed off the fact that dude is dead now. So, anyways, I think he basically tried to kill even more. I kind of forgot what happened there. I think that kind of got muddied over. But anyways, yeah. So, it turns out that the Autobots is really having a messed up time, and the dad made it to the dad made it with met up with them. But anyways, yeah, they were having like a big messed up thing going on here. The fact that they need more people to help, so they basically go get some of the knights, the quote unquote knights, to help them out. And well, it's okay. I mean, the night thing was okay and all. Yeah, I can hear lots of people were pissed off and stuff. Were like, yeah, but they don't even speak. I'm like, whatever, man. They've been locked up for we don't know how many years. So, yeah, it makes sense that they don't know how to speak because they spend so many years in their mind, they don't really know what to say anymore. And plus, like what they said, and I had a good quote, the fact of After all these years, basically, after so many years where a man is locked up in a cage, all that's left is a bestial form. Good quote, isn't it? I remember it was from some movie or somewhere. But anyways, yeah. So that's why. And when they got free and everyone was pissed off, like, hey, but they're in freaking Dinobot mode. Why in the world would they be in beast mode? I'm like, they've been freed. For centuries, I guess. They haven't even gotten to go back into beast mode. So I think it's only fair they're able to stretch their legs in beast mode. And besides, they have raw power in beast modes anyways. But anyways, so he released them, and then he doesn't even say Grimlock, I need your help. He basically just says Knight of whatever, I need your help, and then he's like, fight with me, you must stand with me, and you had a little battle going on, and you had Optimus Prime punching him down with one punch or whatever. So, yeah, everyone basically got that, and they basically said, okay, you got my honor, you got my respect, alright, let's go do it. So, yeah, you had Optimus riding the freaking Grimlock. You also had Slug. I don't know. I don't remember who wrote Slug, but it might be Crosshairs, might have been Hound. And you also had Scorn there. And as for Strafe, which I'm not going to say Swoop because Swoop has one head. Strafe has two. Strafe basically is for Bumblebee, and he flew. There is no strike in this movie. So if you, Slash in this movie. So if you got Slash, yeah, you don't really need Slash, and Slash seems to be the cheap. Yeah, so it looks like Slash, he didn't really have any true design for the movie, or he would actually have been in a movie and been better, well designed, but whatever. So basically, they come back, and I forgot the part of before they came back. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. It was Drift and Crosshairs that was there. Yeah, it was Bumblebee and Hound who was left there to fight. And they tried to drive away, but sadly they couldn't drive away. So since they couldn't drive away, they basically had to ditch the car. And yeah, so Lockdown basically coming back with a freaking magnetic thing. And man, I'm really getting some stuff mixed up. But anyways, yeah. I think what happened is just the fact of they were on the street or something. They were protected and everything. And yeah, they made it to the glass house. Yeah, there we go. So they made it to the glass house, and they were standing their ground and stuff. Funny point, the fact that he was like, so the best place to hide is in a glass freaking place. And it's like, yeah, a place surrounded in glass? Yeah, that's not really a smart idea anyways. And it's funny. Now you can make fun of the whole joke of you shouldn't live in a glass house. So, yeah, Crosshairs and Bumblebee, and Mike Wahlberg did cover fire. Which I would smack the freaking boyfriend in the back of the head. You could have had an extra gun there, but no, you dropped it. So anyways, yeah, you just had Mike Wahlberg alone, and they all tried to beat him, and eventually they solidified. I don't know why, but they solidified. I guess the real reason why they can't really do that is because they have functioning. Yeah, they have functioning for things, but I don't think they were able to truly channel their function, if you know what I'm trying to say. The fact that since they don't have their programmer to program and tell them what to do, even though technically they should have it already in mind of what they need to do, I think eventually they forgot how to do crap, and then that's where they just stayed solid and they got shot and killed. We can go with that for now. But anyways, yeah. So eventually the Dinobots came, and they brought reinforcements. There were reinforcements they need, and of course, yeah, I forgot to talk about how Optimus Prime is able to actually have armor on now. Yeah, since he pulled out that sword that was in the ship, he has armor now. And he also has a shield, which, knights, that makes sense. So, with that said, I guess it gave some good improvements. But who Who cares? Let's continue on. So yeah, the Dinobots came. They helped. Bumblebee had Strife and Stinger tried to actually get hitch a ride too, and they were fighting on Strife and everything, and they're going everywhere, and Strife was losing balance and stuff. But luckily, eventually, Stinger got defeated, and he's like, "No cheap knockoffs," or something, or cheap knockoffs, or whatever Bumblebee said. Even though it's like, in the first movie, you fixed his freaking damn voice. It's about time to make sure his voice stay fixed, even though technically Ratchet's now dead. Oh yeah, Ratchet's now dead. Now you can't fix his voice forever. That makes sense. If you kill Ratchet off in the beginning, it makes sense that yeah, his voice will never get fixed because well, Ratchet's dead. He dead. But anyways, let's continue on. So yeah, you had this stuff, and then the magnetic came, and Lockdown wanted the freaking thing back, and he kept on freaking picking up stuff and throwing it down, picking up stuff and throwing it down, picking up stuff and throwing it down, because of magnetism for some stupid damn reason. We don't freaking damn know why, but yeah, for some reason he had to have a freaking magnet to keep throwing it up and down, stuff up and down, which is yeah, whatever. But anyways, let's continue. So, after that, they basically had a... Yeah, they had a truck. They were driving. They couldn't go further because for some reason their dam or whatever broke and the water was taking possession of the freaking street. So they backed up and continued backing up and then eventually got into a freaking place where then they had to jump out because now the freaking truck was getting magnetized along with the seed. And oh yeah, the seat started beeping. Uh-oh. But anyways, yeah, you were holding on to the seat, and the freaking boyfriend, for some stupid reason, is not able to undo his seatbelt and jump out, or even. I figure he would have a knife or something to be able to jump out. Oh, he's a coward. Never mind. But anyways, yeah, he's finally able to jump out, and instead of being like, "Daddy, are you okay?" She's like, "Are you okay, boyfriend?" I'm like, "Oh my fucking god." Oh my fucking god, man. Seriously? Talk about kick daddy to the curb already. But still, yeah, they did that. So when that happened, they're now in the place, and I think, yeah, they were doing headway and stuff, but still, they still had to get the seed and take it somewhere. So they drove the seed away, and then all of a sudden, Mark was like, "Yeah, I need to go with Optimus because apparently Optimus and Lockdown is now having a showdown, and he wants to help." So he went after him, and of course the daughter is freaking stubborn as hell, and she's like, "Ah, no, no, no! I want to go, my daddy!" All of a sudden, she's like, "I want to help my daddy," even though for most of the movie you're like, "Oh, boyfriend, I love you," and I'm like, seriously, make up your mind. Do you care about your dad or not? It's like your dad should come first, your boyfriend comes second. That's how it goes. That's how it has to go. Like, damn. But anyways, so yeah, you basically had this moment where the Autobots were able to drive it away, and you had Optimus fighting Lockdown, and technically you had Galvatron who's like, "Yeah, you know what? Screw this. Another time." And he just left. No idea if he still had the rest of the 50, or like the rest that came out of the 50 that follows him. You didn't see it. It seems like he went alone, so now he's going to be alone, but now he has a better body. So yeah, there's one thing that is now brand spanking new that they can use for the sequel. Alright, let's continue on. So yeah, Lockdown versus Optimus, and Mark Wahlberg wanted to help, so he took the gun sword and started shooting to help. And even though he's like, "You should get out of here," and then what's worse is Lockdown freaking used Optimus' sword against him and pinned him to a freaking water reservoir. I'd say that. Yeah, and then the girl was able to freaking do crap and was able to pick a freaking... Yeah, so the girl hooked onto the tow truck and the guy drove. Was in the when the thing whatever. Okay, yeah, we know the guy drives. So every single driving scene you have, the guy will drive. Whatever. Not really have to be mentioned more. So yeah, he kept on driving. Then they freaking did the whole tow truck to sort out of his heart and stuff, while Mark Wahlberg had to deal with freaking lockdown, and then you also had Bumblebee dealing with lockdown, and finally Optimus Prime was able to kill lockdown and everything. And as for the freaking ship, good point that somehow that John has is just the fact of the ship is still here. The ship is not like, well, even though you do have to admit they're freaking grunts and stuff. The grunts won't know what to freaking do without their leaders, so it makes sense that they're like, "Oh, duh, what we do? Duh, I don't know. Do we stay here and die? Oh, guess so. Since lockdown's not giving orders anymore, like, boom, because of Hong Kong now sending. Yeah, so the ship gets destroyed. I guess I don't know. I don't really remember that part that the ship gets destroyed. But we know that now everyone's now reunited, and Mark Wahlberg leaves his sword at the battlefield where Lockdown died. Even though you just said, I'm going to patent this slag. Which is like, yeah, so you're going to drop the sword, that awesome sword, on the ground and not take it with you. Duck, man. But anyways, it ends with the whole idea of now everyone's reunited and stuff, and he's like, he told the Dinobots, you're free to go wherever you want. And now Dinobots are now roaming the Earth. Yeah, so now they're roaming the Earth. Can't talk still. And now he leaves it up to the rest of the four, even though they freaking were fighting before he came. So it's like now since he leaves, does that mean that they now can go in fighting again, yet again? But anyways, yeah, so he's leaving, and the boss guy was like, yeah, I'm not making any more Transformers anymore. And of course Mark Wahlberg is like, well, we don't have any house to go to. And the dude like, yeah, I can help you with that. And chances are they most likely will shake hands, say yeah, and most likely be partnered up. Is there anything else? There's really nothing else to really say about the movie. That's how it ends, besides the whole I am Optimus Prime and creators leave Earth alone. I'm coming for you. And he's flying now. Which I guess that's the way what happens when you pull the sword is you get to have flight ability too. I guess. But anyways, whatever, he flies away and that's the end of the movie. All right, that was a big long thing. Yeah, I see for myself that it took an hour and something, which that's half of what the movie is. That's at least half. But anyways, yes. So that's the movie. That's the whole entire movie. I gave you every single thing that happened, so that'll help remind anyone who's like, I forgot what happened in this scene or in that scene. But anyways, if I will actually see it again, chances are I won't see it again, since since the whole you can't go and something, I'm not going to basically point myself and say I did it. I'm just going to say that since something, I can't see any more movies because, well, staying clean and crap. But anyways, yeah, if I could be able to see it again, would I? Not necessarily. Yeah, not necessarily. And plus, Tessa pisses me the frick off. She pisses me the freak off. Most of the movie, she's like, oh, my boyfriend. As soon as he gets in the picture, it's like, yeah, so your dad's chopped liver now? I thought you said, well, who else is going to take care of you, daddy? And you turn it to, my boyfriend. I'm like, seriously? The fuck? Yeah, and the boyfriend's a big fat coward, even though he drives a damn car. But when it comes to the Transformers themselves, I say they're pretty good. Yeah, that was pretty good. The movie was pretty good. I'm glad they leave freaking Chicago alone. Yeah, that's one reason why I would have a bone to pick to Michael Bay is the fact that you picked freaking Chicago. Yeah, I would so take a baseball bat that's signed by every single Chicago team and hit him upside, not hit him upside the head, but chances are just hit him in the back and keep hitting in the back, maybe gently, maybe even get like a rubber bat instead of getting an actual wooden bat and just keep on pounding him with that bat. It's not going to hurt him, no, but he'll learn not to mess with freaking Chicago. Leave Chicago alone, man. Leave it alone. Go to Hollywood. Attack California instead. California is the best place to attack because you have lots of stars and people will definitely be saying, "Oh my gosh, no! What about Brad Pitt? He lives there!" Or whatever. You have lots of people living in freaking California, so why not attack California? But anyways, yeah, all the recent Transformers that came, RC, Sideswipe, all those guys, they came, they went. They came, and then you have no idea where they went after that. Chances are, since you don't see them again, and they have a crazy rotation going on, they most likely are all dead. Dead by a freaking... Yeah, dead by a freaking Decepticon, chances are, but... Yeah, whatever. I would at least like to get a nod of saying, well, we... Like in each movie... If they got killed off screen, I would at least like to say we did lose a few allies along the way. RC, da da da, da da da. And they just keep listing them so you know for a fact, yeah, they died, instead of they're somewhere out there. They just don't want to show themselves for some freaking reason. Or they quit for some reason. As for the humans themselves, including Sam, I think most of them are dead or got paid off. I would say none of them, most likely none of them were able to get paid off. The only ones that only one person that got paid off was most likely the guy that was in section whatever. He's the only person I can actually see for myself got paid off. Sam getting paid off and give rid of all the mini cons? No. No, Sam wouldn't do that. And for anyone who is like, oh, Shia LaBeouf fan, you're a Shia LaBeouf fan, or no, I'm like, I'm not a Shia LaBeouf fan. I'm just saying, when it comes to characters in a movie, I would like to have closure, not, oh, we just wrote him off. Yeah, don't mention him. It's okay. Just, no. You have to at least freaking give closure. Saying, oh, yeah, well, Sam is in protective custody now, or whatever. Yeah. Is that too hard to freaking say? It's like something like that. Or the army dudes, they're okay. They've been sent to some other mission, and they basically were sent on another mission, and this mission basically makes it so that they can't know exactly what happens in the outside world. So that means that whatever is going on, like the whole we're shooting down Autobots and Decepticons, they won't know that the Autobots is getting shot, or they're continuing on the Decepticon raid or whatever. So yeah, I mean, if you could have done something like that, I would have been happy with it. But you didn't really do anything. As for Megan Fox's character, since she was gone, I technically think that she definitely won't actually be like a true bother to them. So that's why it's okay not even though it's messed up that you've written her off, but at least you kind of told you kind of gave an ending to the relationship. But still, I would just say, yeah, she might actually be a liability, but on the other hand, I don't think so, since she has been out for a while. And since Transformers do rotate and crap, you rotate the freaking roster. Yeah, there's like no way. It was like if you were in the first movie and you saw all the Autobots, and chances are you won't actually be able to even give any remote quality on it, because, well, Ironhide's dead now, Jazz been dead, Ratchet's now dead. The only two you do know that are still alive is Optimus and Bumblebee, and even then, there's no way anyone actually know anything about that. So yeah. Alright, I'm done. But thank you for listening. This was the whole entire spoiler. I know it's over an hour and something, but if you listen all the way through it, I like to say thank you so much. I hope this was funny, and at least maybe even give you questions of your own, or actually say, yeah, you have a point, or yeah, and stuff. So, yeah, and check out all the freaking Transformers toys if you can. Except for Slash and except for Drift. Even though, yeah, you can do Drift. It's just that Drift was a freaking helicopter in the damn movie. He was a helicopter and he was a freaking car. So I think only fair you come out with a freaking helicopter version as well. I know. I know. My mom basically was like, but it might be hard for them to do it. Maybe they didn't have the technology to make one like that. I'm like, even though you do that, then don't put it in a damn movie. It's like, yeah, it's like, don't put it in a damn movie if you can't do it. That's how it works. I'm sorry, but that's just how it kind of works. And even so, give the best attempt on trying to do it. And then eventually in years, go back and continue to try to perfect it. But anyways, thank you for listening. Have a good day. And if you do want to watch the movie, I mean, if you want to actually continue and watch the movie again and again and again, go right ahead. But yeah. And as for anyone who actually was watching this and didn't want spoilers, but you stayed from the whole entire thing, dude, you screwed your appetite. But anyways, I'm done. Have a good day. I'm done. I'm bye. Bye.